Hi guys, I'm back. Today I'm going to read Ezekiel 14 to 18, Proverbs 19, and Psalm 144. Let's get started. Certain of the elders of Israel came to me and sat before me, and the word of the Lord came to me. Son of man, these men have taken their idols into their hearts and set the stumbling block of their iniquity before their faces. Should I indeed let myself be consulted by them? Therefore speak to them and say to them, Thus says the Lord God, any one of the house of Israel who takes his idols into his heart and sets the stumbling block of iniquity before his face, and yet comes to the prophet, I the Lord will enter him as he comes with a multitude of his idols, that I may lay hold of the hearts of the house of Israel, who are all estranged from me through their idols. Therefore say to the house of Israel, Thus is the Lord God, repeat and turn away from your idols, and turn away from your faces and all your abominations. For any one of the house of Israel, or of the strangers who sojourn in Israel, who separate himself from me, taking his idols into his heart and putting the stumbling block of his iniquity before his face, and yet comes to a prophet to consult me through him, I the Lord will answer him myself, and I will set my face against that man, and I will make him a sign and a byword and myself. Cut him off from the midst of my people. And you shall know that I am the Lord. And if the prophet is deceived and speaks a word, I, the Lord, have deceived that prophet. And I will stretch out my hand against him and will destroy him from the midst of my people, Israel. And they shall bear the punishment of the prophet and the punishment of the inquirer shall be alike. And that the house of Israel may no more go astray from me, nor defile themselves any more with all their transgressions, and that they may be my people, and I may be their God, declares the Lord. And the words of the Lord came to me, Son of man, when the land sins against me, acting faithlessly, and I stretch out my hand against it, and break its supply of bread, and send famine upon it, and cut off from it man and beast. And even if these three men, Noah, Daniel, and Job, were in it, they will deliver but their own lives by their righteousness, declares the Lord God. So if I cause wild beasts to pass through the land, and they ravage it, and it be made desolate, so that no one may pass through because of the beast, even if these three men were in it, as I live, declares the Lord God, they will deliver neither sons nor daughters. They alone would be delivered, but the land would be desolate. Or if I bring a sword upon that land and say, Let a sword pass through the land, and I cut off from it man and beast, though these three men were in it, as I live, declares the Lord God, they will deliver neither sons nor daughters, but they alone would be delivered. Or if I send a pestilence into that land, and pour out my wrath upon it with blood, to cut off from it man and beast, even if Noah, Daniel, and Job were in it, as I live, declares the Lord God, they will deliver neither son nor daughter. They will deliver but their own lives by their righteousness. And thus says the Lord God, how much more when I send upon Jerusalem my 4 disastrous acts of judgment, sword, famine, wild beasts, and pestilence, to cut off from it man and beast. Yet behold, some survivors will be left in it, sons and daughters who will be brought out. Behold, and they come now to you, and you see their ways and their deeds. You will be consoled for the disaster that I have brought upon Jerusalem, all that I have brought upon it. They will console you, when you see their ways and their deeds, and you shall know that I have not done without cause all that I have done in it, declares the Lord God. And the word of the Lord came to me, Son of man, how does the word of the vine surpass any good, and the vine branch that is among the trees of the forest? Is wood taken from it to make anything? Do people take a peg from it to hang any vessel on it? Behold, it is given to the fire for fuel, Then the fire has consumed both ends of it, and in the middle of it is charred. Is it useful for anything? When it was whole, it was used for nothing. How much less when the fire has consumed it and it is charred? Can it ever be used for anything? Therefore, thus saith the Lord God, like the wood of the vine among the trees of the forest, which I have given to life for fuel. So I have given up the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and I will set my face against them. Though they escape when I set my face against them, and I will make them land desolate, because they have acted faithlessly, declares the Lord. Again the word of the Lord came to me, Son of man, make known to Jerusalem her abominations, and say, Thus says the Lord God to Jerusalem, your origin and your birth are of the land of the Canaanites. Your father was an Amorite, and your mother a Hittite. And as for your birth, on the day when you were born, your cord was not cut, nor were you washed with water to cleanse you, nor rubbed with salt, nor wrapped in swaddling cloths. No, I pitied you, so do any of these things to you, out of the compassion of you, that you were cast out on the open field. For you were abhorred on the day that you were born. And when I passed by you and saw you wallowing in your blood, I said to you, in your blood, live. I said to you, in your blood, live. And I made you flourish like the plant of the field. And you grew up and became tall, and arrived at a full adornment. Your breasts were formed, and your hair had grown, yet you were naked and bare. And I passed by you again and saw you, behold, you were at the age for love. And I spread the corner of my garment over you and covered your nakedness. I made my vow to you and entered into a covenant with you, declares the Lord God, and you became mine. Then I bathed you with water and washed off your blood from you and anointed you with oil. I clothed you also with embroidered cloth and shod you with fine leather. I wrapped you in fine linen and covered you with silk. And I adorned you with ornaments and put bracelets on your wrists and a chain on your neck. And I put a ring on your nose and earrings in your ears and a beautiful crown on your head. Thus you were adorned with gold and silver. And your clothing was of fine linen and silk and embroidered cloth. You ate fine flour and honey and oil. You grew exceedingly beautiful and advanced to royalty. And your renown went forth among the nations because of your beauty. For it was perfect through the splendor that I bestowed on you. Declares the Lord God. You trusted in your beauty and played the whore. Because of your renown and lavished your whorings on any passerby. Your beauty became his. You took some of your garments and made for yourself cloudful shrines, and on them played the whore. The like has never been, nor ever shall be. You also took the beautiful jewels of my gold and of my silver, which I had given you, and made for yourself images of men, and with them played the whore. And you took your embroidered garments to cover them, and set my oil incense before them. And so the bread that I gave you, I fed you with fine flour and oil and honey. You set before them for a pleasing aroma. And so it was, declares the Lord God. And you took your sons and your daughters, whom you had born to me, and these you sacrificed to them to be devoured. Were you whoring so small matter that you slaughtered my children, and delivered them up as an offering by fire to them? And in all your abominations during your whoring, you did not remember the days of your youth, where you were naked and bare, and wallowing in your blood. And after all the wickedness, you built yourself a vaulted chamber and made yourself a lofty place in every square. At the head of every street, you built your lofty place and made your beauty an abomination, offering yourself to any passerby and multiplying your whoring. You also played the whore with the Egyptians, your lustful neighbors, multiplying your whoring to provoke me to anger. Behold, therefore I stretched out my hand against you and diminished your allotted portion, and delivered you to the greed of your enemies, your daughters of the Philistines, who were ashamed of your lewd behavior. You played the whore also with your sins, because you were not satisfied. Yes, you played the whore with them, and still you were not satisfied. You multiplied your whoring also with the trading land of Chaldea, and even with this you were not satisfied. How sick is your heart, declares the Lord God. Because you did all these things, the deeds of a brazen prostitute, and building your vaulted chamber at the head of every street, and making your lofty place in every square. But you were not like a prostitute, because you scorned payment, an adulterous wife who receives strangers instead of her husband. And give gifts to all prostitutes, but you gave them gifts to all your lovers, bribing them to come to you from every side with your whorings. So you were different from other women in your whorings. No one solicited you to pay the war, and you gave payment while no payment was given to you. Therefore you were different. Therefore, O prostitute, hear the words of the Lord. Thus says the Lord God, because your lust was poured out and your nakedness uncovered in your whorings with your lovers and with all your abominable idols, and because of the blood of your children that you gave to them. Therefore, behold, I will gather all your lovers, and with whom you took pleasure, and all those who you loved, and all those you hated. I will gather them against you from every side, and will uncover your nakedness too, that they may see all your nakedness. And I will judge you as one who commit adultery, and shed blood are judged, and bring upon you the blood of the wrath of jealousy. And I will give you into their hand, and they shall throw down your vaulted chamber, and break down your lofty places. They shall strip you of your clothes, and take your beautiful jewels, and leave you naked and bare. They shall bring up a crowd against you, and they shall stone you, and cut you to pieces with their swords. And they shall burn your houses, and execute judgments upon you in the sight of many women. I will make you stop playing the whore, and you shall also give payment no more. So I will satisfy my wrath on you, and my jealousy shall depart from me. I will be calm and will no more be angry, because you have not remembered the days of your youth, but have enraged me with all these things. Therefore, behold, I have returned your deeds upon your head, declares the Lord. Have you not committed lewdness in addition to all your abominations? Behold, everyone who uses Proverbs will use this proverb about you. Like mother, like daughter. You are the daughter of your mother, who loathed her husband and your children. And you are the sister of your sisters, who loathed their husbands and their children. Your mother was a Hittite, and your father an Amorite. And your elder children, your mother was a Hittite, and your father an Amorite. And your elder sister in Samaria, who lived with her daughters to the north of you. And your younger sister, who lived to the south of you, is Sodom with her daughters. Not only did you walk in the ways and do according to their abominations, within a very little time you were more corrupt than they were in all your ways. As I live, declares the Lord God, your sister Sodom and her daughters have not done as you, and your daughters have done. Behold, this was the guilt of your sister Sodom. And she and her daughters had pride, excess of food, and prosperous ease, but did not aid the poor and needy. They were haughty and did an abomination before me. So I removed them, and I saw it. Samaria has not committed half your sins. You have committed more abominations than they. And I have made your sisters appear righteous by all the abominations that you have committed. Bear your disgrace, you Joseph, for you have intervened on behalf of your sisters. Because of your sins in which you act more abominably than they are more in the right than you. So be ashamed, you Joseph, and bear your disgrace, for you have made your sisters appear righteous. So I will restore their fortunes, both the fortunes of Sodom and her daughters, and the fortunes of Samaria and her daughters, and I will restore your own fortunes in the midst, so that you may bear your disgrace, and be ashamed of all that you have done, becoming a consolation to them. As for your sisters, Sodom and her daughters shall return to their former state, and Samaria and her daughters shall return to their former state, and you and your daughters shall return to your former state. Was not your sister Sodom a byword in your mouth in the day of your pride, before your wickedness was uncovered? Now you have become an object of reproach for the daughters of Syria and all those around her, and for the daughters of the Philistines, those all around who despise you. You bear the penalty of your lewdness and your abominations, declares the Lord. For thus says the Lord God, and I'll deal with you as you have done, you who have despised the oath and breaking the covenant. Yet I will remember my covenant with you, in the days of your youth, and I will establish for you an everlasting covenant. Then you will remember your ways, and be ashamed when you take your sister, both your elder and your younger, and I will give them to you as daughters, but on account of the covenant with you. I will establish my covenant with you, and you shall know that I am the Lord, that you may remember and be confounded, and never open your mouth again because of your shame. When I atone for you for all that you have done, declares the Lord God. The word of the Lord came to me, Son of man, propound a riddle, and speak a parable to the house of Israel. Say, thus says the Lord God, a great eagle with great wings and long pinions, rich in plumage of many colors, came to Lebanon and took the top of the cedar. He broke off the topmost of its young twigs and carried it to a land of trade and set it in the city of merchants. Then he took it of the seed of the land and planted it in fertile soil. He placed it beside abundant waters. He set it like a willow twig, and it sprouted and became a low spreading vine. And its branches turned toward him, and its roots remained where it stood. So it became a vine and produced branches and put out boughs. And there was another great eagle with great wings and much plumage. Then behold, this vine bent its roots toward him and shot forth its branches toward him from the bed where it was planted, that he might water it. And it had been planted on good soil, in abundant waters, that it might produce branches and bear fruit and become a noble vine. Say, thus says the Lord God, will it thrive? Will he not pull up its roots and cut off its fruit, so that it withers, and so that all its fresh sprouting leaves wither? It will not take a strong arm or many people to pull it from the roots. Behold, it is planted. Will it thrive? Will it not utterly wither when the eastern wind strikes it? Wither away on the bed where it sprouted? And when the word of the Lord came to me, say now to the rebellious house, do you not know what these things mean? Tell them, behold, the king of Babylon came to Jerusalem and took a king and a princess and brought them to him to Babylon. And he took one of the royal offspring and made a covenant with him, putting him under oath, the chief man of the land, he had taken away. And that the kingdom might be under oath, the chief man of the land he had taken away. That the kingdom might be humble and not lifted itself up, and keep his covenant that it might stand. And he rebelled against him by sending his ambassadors to each, that they might give him horses and a large army. Will he thrive? Can one escape who does such things? Can you break the covenant and yet escape? And as I live, declares the Lord God, surely in the place where the king dwells, who made him king, whose oath he despised, and whose covenant with him he broke, in Babylon he shall die. Pharaoh with his mighty army and great company will not help him in war. When mounds are cast up and siege walls built to cut off many lives, he despised the oath and breaking the covenant. And behold, he gave his hand and did all these things. He shall not escape. Therefore thus says the Lord God, as I live, surely it is my oath that he despised, and my covenant that he broke, and I will return it upon his head. And I will spread my net over him, and he shall be taken in my snare. And I will bring him to Babylon, and enter into judgment with him there for the treachery he has committed against me. And all the pick of his survivors, of his troops, shall fall by the sword, and the survivors shall be scattered to every wind. And you shall know that I am the Lord. I have spoken. Thus says the Lord God, and I myself will take a sprig from the sea, from the lofty top of the cedar, and will set it out. And I will break off from the topmost of its young twigs a tender one, and will set it out. I'll break off from the topmost of its young twig a tender one, and I myself will plant it on a high and lofty mountain, on the mountain of high Israel. Will I plant it, that it may bear branches and produce fruit and become a noble cedar. And under it will dwell every kind of bird, in the shade of its branches, birds of every sort will nest, and all the trees of the field shall know that I am the Lord. And I bring low the high tree, and make high the low tree, dry up the green tree, and make the dry tree flourish. I am the Lord, I have spoken, and I will do it. The word of the Lord came to me, What do you mean by repeating this proverb concerning the land of Israel? The fathers have eaten sour grapes, and their children's teeth are set on edge. As I live, declares the Lord God, this proverb shall no more be used to you in Israel. Behold, all souls are mine. The soul of the Father as well as the soul of the Son is mine. The soul who sins shall die. If a man is righteous and does what is just and right, if he does not eat upon the mountains or lift up his eyes to the idols of the house of Israel, does not defile his neighbor's wife or approach a woman in the time of menstrual impurity, does not oppress anyone but restores the debtor to the debtor of his pledge, commits no robbery, gives his bread to the hungry, and covers the naked with a garment, does not lend out interest or take any profit, withholds his hand from injustice, executes true justice between man and man, walks in my statutes, and keeps my rules by acting faithfully. He is righteous, he shall surely live, declares the Lord God. If he fathers a son who is violent, a shredder of blood, who does any of these things, he even eats among the mountains, defiles his neighbor's wife, oppresses the poor and needy, commits robbery, does not restore the pledge, lifts up his eyes to the idols, commits abomination, lends at interest, and takes profit, shall he then live? He has done all these abominations. He shall surely die. His blood shall be upon himself. Now suppose this man fathers a son who sees all the sins that his father has done, and he sees, and does not do likewise. If he does not eat upon the mountains or lift up his eyes to the idols of the house of Israel, does not defile his neighbor's wife, does not oppress anyone, exacts no pledge, commits no robbery, but gives his bread to the hungry, and covers the naked with a garment, withholds his hand from iniquity, takes no interest or profit, obeys my rules, and walks in my statutes, he shall not die for his father's iniquity. He shall surely live. As for his father, he shall, because he practiced extortion, robbed his brother, and did what is not good among his people. Behold, he shall die for his iniquity. Yet you say, why should not the son suffer for the iniquity of the father? Then the son has done what is just and right, and has been careful to observe all my statutes. He shall surely live. The son who sins shall die. The son shall not suffer for the iniquity of the father, nor the father suffer for the iniquity of the son. The righteousness of the righteous shall be upon himself, and the wicked of the wicked shall be upon himself. But if a wicked person turns away from all the sins that he has committed and keeps all my statutes and does what is just and right, he shall surely live, he shall not die. None of the transgressions that he has committed shall be remembered against him, for the wicked righteous that he has done shall live. Have I any pleasure in the death of the wicked, declares the Lord God, and rather that he should turn from his way and live? But when a righteous person turns away from his righteousness and does injustice and does the same abomination that the wicked person does, shall he live? None of the righteous deeds that he has done shall be remembered. For the treachery of which he is guilty and the sin he has committed, for them he shall die. Yet you say, the way of the Lord is not just. Hear now, O house of Israel. Is my way not just? Is it not your ways that are not just? When a righteous person turns away from his righteousness and does injustice, he shall die for it. For the injustice that he has done, he shall die. Again, when a wicked person turns away from the wickedness he has committed and does what is just and right, he shall save his life. Because he considered and turned away from all the transgressions that he had committed, he shall surely live, he shall not die. Yet the house of Israel says, the way of the Lord is not just. O house of Israel, all my ways are not just. Is it not your ways that are not just? Therefore I will judge you, O house of Israel, everyone according to his ways, declares the Lord God. Repent and turn from all your transgressions, lest iniquity be your ruin. Cast away from you all the transgressions that you have committed, and make yourselves a new heart and a new spirit. And why will you die, O house of Israel? For I have no pleasure in the death of anyone, declares the Lord God. So turn and live. And you, Proverbs 19. Better is a poor person who walks in his integrity than one who is fooled in speech and is a fool. Desire without knowledge is not good, and whoever makes haste with his feet misses his way. When a man's folly brings his way to ruin, his heart rages against the Lord. Wealth brings many new friends, but a poor man is deserted by his friend. And a false witness will not go unpunished, and he who breathes out lies will not escape. Many seek the favor of generous men, and everyone is a friend to a man who gives gifts. And all the poor when his brothers hate him, how much more do his friends go far from him? He pursues them with words, but does not have them. Whoever gets sense loves his own soul. He who keeps understanding will discover good. A false witness will not go unpunished, and he who breathes out lies will perish. It is not fitting for a fool to live in luxury, much less for a slave to rule over princes. Good sense makes one slow to anger, and it is his glory to overlook an offense. A king's wrath is like the growling of a lion, and his favor is like dew on the grass. A foolish son is ruin to his father, and a wife's quarreling is a continual dripping of rain. House and wealth are inherited from fathers, and a prudent wife is from the Lord. Slothfulness casts into a deep sleep, and an idle person will suffer hunger. Whoever keeps the commandment keeps his life. He who despises his ways will die. Whoever is generous to the poor lends to the Lord, and he will repay him for his deed. Discipline your son, for there is hope. Do not set your heart on putting him to death. A man of great wrath will pay the penalty, but if you deliver him, you will only have to deliver him. Listen to advice and accept instruction, that you may gain wisdom in the future. Many are the plans of the mind in the mind of a man, but it is the purpose of the Lord that will stand. What is desired in a man is steadfast love, and the poor man is better than a lion. And the fear of the Lord leads to life, and whoever has it rests satisfied. He will not be visited by harm. The sluggard buries his hand in the dish, and will not even bring it back to his mouth. Strike a scoffer, and he will learn prudence. Reprove a man of understanding, and he will gain knowledge. He who does violence to his father and chases away his mother is a son who brings shame and reproach. It is easy to hear instruction, my son, and you will stray from the words of knowledge. A worthless witness mocks at justice, and the mouth of the wicked devours iniquity. Condemnation is ready for scoffers, and beating for the backs of fools. Psalm 144. Blessed be the Lord my rock. He trains my hands for war, and my fingers for battle. He is my steadfast love and my fortress, my stronghold and my deliverer, my shield, and he is in whom I take refuge. You subdue people under me. O Lord, what is man that you regard him, or the son of man that you think of him? Man is like a breath, and his days are like a passing shadow. Bow your heavens, O Lord, and come down. Touch the mountains so that they smoke. Flash forth the lightning and scatter them. Send out your arrows and rout them. Stretch out your hand from on high. Rescue me and deliver me from the many waters, from the hand of foreigners whose mouth speak lies, and whose right hand is the right hand of falsehood. I will sing a new song to you, O God. Upon his 10-string harp I will play to you, who gives victory to kings, who rescues David his servant from the cruel sword. Rescue me and deliver me from the hand of foreigners, whose mouth speak lies, and whose right hand is the right hand of falsehood. May our sons and their youth be like plants full grown, our daughters like corner pillars and cut for the structure of a house. May our granaries be full, providing all kinds of produce. May our sheep bring forth thousands and 10,000s in our fields. May our cattle be heavy with young, suffering no mishap or failure in bearing. May there be no cry of distress in our streets. Blessed are the people to whom such blessings fall. Blessed are the people whose God is the Lord. Now that's done, I shall now do the Lord's Prayer. Please bow your heads. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. To your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread. Forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For yours is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. See you tomorrow. Bye.